turning pages, night turning days. I'm tired of waiting. I gotta make it.
Yeah, I
So
agree with you. And really, I do get your concerns because your concerns are probably from the LeBron era where Koby Altman kind of like messed up big time. I do understand your concerns because right now, Relly has. I saw someone say this line. It's easier to build a rebuilding team into a playoff team than it is a playoff team into a contender. So while I do give Kobe Altman credit, I still do trust in him. There is a little bit of concern about that because the last time he was in the situation with LeBron, he kind of messed up. He traded Kyrie for IT, Crowder, Zizic, and Sexton, and that was a whole disaster. And then he bulldozed everyone out on the deadline, and it was just that season was just a complete disaster. So yes, but although I do feel like really maybe that might have been the pressure of having a LeBron James on your team and trying to win now.
I agree with that. Now that part's understandable if you're using that because I mean when you got LeBron James, it's kind of obvious the pressure you have as a general manager to make a contender. Because Bron at this point, we don't value him going to the playoffs. We value him going to the finals, right? He was at a spree where it was 8 consecutive finals.
Yeah.
Or non-consecutive. So that's the standard for Bron. Matter of fact, I think it might have been that year or the year before where Bron was literally in MVP conversations and he didn't even show up to the ceremony because that's not what Bron is like. That's not what matters to him. He was on vacation, right?
Yeah.
And so, like you said, I would understand Koby Altman. He did feel like he had to make a move, which he did.
Yeah, and he was in danger of losing LeBron as well. So yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I just didn't feel like that was a move he had to make at that time. And then I didn't feel like he had to draft Collin either, only because at the time, because if you losing LeBron, I just wanted us to go for 4 potentially. But and because we had a lot of guards at that point in time too, which is kind of what made me not want Collin either. But Koby Altman is he's definitely right now he's doing his part though. I was still a little hesitant at him too, how he handled KPJ and Drummond.
Yeah.
But he's still because it's kind of weird. He'd do something weird like that, but then he'll pull off a heist like Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Because I don't think nobody expected him to be in that deal. And it was another trade offer. Oh, Larry. Nobody expected us to get Larry Markkinen either, not for Larry Nance. And I really like Larry Nance. I thought we should have tried to keep him. But, but when you got a young prospect like Larry, like that, it's kind of hard for Cleveland to pass up on that when Cleveland is not necessarily known for getting pieces like that, if that makes sense. So I will say, I will say I do got to give Koby some
really outside of course the Kyrie trade, and of course my one concern was paying Kevin Love all that money because trying to rush and hoping he make your team the playoff team. Outside of that, he's been really good.
I agree. So far this season, I will say this season, definitely I'll give him a B+ right now. And it's going to probably go up because I want to see what he do trade deadline.
Yeah.
But yeah, I give him a B+ right now because for sure. And I might give him a B for last season too because of how he was able to pull off Jared Allen, which is crazy because we just fumbled the ball if I'm not mistaken, we just fumbled the ball on KPJ and Drummond that season, right?
Yeah.
Because we was supposed to trade Drummond, didn't get no offers. We ended up releasing them, and KPJ, we ended up trading him for second round. But then right before that, we got Jared Allen. So that is crazy to me, you know. And then he drafted Evan Mobley. That was a good pickup. That was a really good draft right there. And and also too, I liked the season before or the draft before. I liked how he picked up a Lamar Stevens, right? I really and I know people might be on the fence with Lamar Stevens, but I actually like Lamar Stevens, and he's getting better shooting too. So I think
his only draft like slip up was Windler, basically. Yeah, it was actually Windler over Collin Johnson.
Yeah. I don't think Windler was a bad pick. It's just that health, which makes it seem like because I don't think nobody would imagine him having this type of inconsistencies with health, because it's like you almost know at this point Dylan Windler is good for at least one injury at some point of the season. And it's unfortunate because weirdly I really like Dylan Windler because he's the player we need to, because I talk about we need shooters, and we have a shooter right there. It's just he cannot stay on the court. He's and I really see Joe Harris potential, and it's just our luck. We're going to get him off the roster. Somebody's going to sign him, and he's going to be this prolific shooter, right? But, you know, I agree. For sure.
So really moving on, really, I think the one thing we need on this team is still a real actual wing player. Like that's the one thing I need, really. And I know I've been saying Brandon Ingram as one guy. So realistically, knowing the Pelicans, would do you think there's a possibility to pull off a Brandon Ingram deal without giving up the trio of Garland, Allen, Mobley?
The only way you do that is if you trade Collin, but once again, the only way you do that is if you wait till the offseason.
Yeah.
But the only problem I have with that, though, because they got Devontae Graham, is if they think Collin Sexton makes sense on the Pelicans. Right?
Right.
And that's a very tough question to ask, because honestly, that's gonna be hard to do. And I think that's probably if we did have that offer, I think that's probably the only reason Koby Altman didn't do it, is because I think they asked for either DG, Mobley, or Allen, which at this point I'm not giving up any three of them because I want Ingram alongside with them. I want them, like, because my realistic deal, I would probably give Collin, I'd give Isaac Okoro because I would have to. David Griffin will want some, and I give him some picks. I'd probably give him 1 or 2 first round picks because it's Ingram. But like I said, I don't because David Griffin is in a situation where he has to make some shake too. So in a way, he's kind of desperate as well. But David Griffin also understands right now, if he mess up, he's gone. He's getting fired because they already blaming him for not making playoff contender in 3 years with Zion Williamson, which is like, wow. It's like, wow, like that's really the expectations for them already. And Zion hasn't even really played. Like he hasn't played in the league, and they expecting so it's kind of hard. That's why I'm like, man, like what? So yeah, I think we would have to give up Collin, but that might be tough for us, you know.
That's Atlantis with that money.